So today we're setting up the worm bucket worm composting system, the vermicomposting system. So the inputs for that are food waste, some kind of brown matter like leaves, straw, cardboard, paper, and then we're adding coffee grounds to that as well. So food waste, coffee grounds, and some carbonaceous material. Worm bins need to have the material kind of pre-chopped up in a fine way before added to the bin, because worms, while mighty, aren't large and they can't really like break apart food very well. And so what we're doing is taking all of our food waste, apples, sludge of various kinds, whole potatoes, whole pumpkins, whole artichokes, and chopping it up so that it's much finer for the worms. And if there is some decomposition already taken place by bacteria, there will be even more food already available for the worms.
The next ingredient we're adding in is coffee grounds, and we put in roughly 1/4 of the bucket.
Too much.
We then mix the ingredients together and mash up the bigger chunks so that they are more easily decomposable. To finish off the bedding, we added in ripped up paper bags, which came from a nearby grocery store, and this is our carbonaceous material. The bedding was then added to every bucket except for the bottommost bucket, which captures the leachate. Each bucket is filled up about halfway to the top with bedding material. The bedding was also slightly dampened before adding it into the buckets.
So the whole holes also, worms can go travel through. That's about perfect. I'll probably put a little more. You want it to be snugger than loose, just because you want the worms to have contact, right, to pass between the layers. So you don't want there to be like a gap. You want it to be as full as you can make it, pretty much, but still have it closed. You don't want flies or rats or mice getting into the edges of your bin too much. See how that's not close enough anymore. There's gonna be flies coming through, so we're gonna dump out just a little bit. And that rather large piece of bark's coming out too. So we have our system filled and ready to have worms added. And then the top 3 buckets all have holes in them. The middle 2 are filled with about 5 inches of bedding and food waste. And then the top bucket is filled almost all the way with food waste and bedding. And so what we're gonna do in addition to the food waste to lock in moisture is keep a lid on the system, a plastic lid, but inside of the lid also just some kind of wet fabric or cloth to trap in more moisture. So here we have just a shopping bag that we're gonna soak with water and keep on top. But what would be even better is a wet cotton rag. I say cotton, we don't want any microplastics in there, but some kind of cloth on top of the system to trap in the moisture, but that is breathable. And then keeping a lid on top to keep the rain out and the rats out. And that's your system.
The red wriggler worms have been added, and they even came in worm castings. This will help the colony establish itself within the system. We got them from gray bears, and they were placed in the second bucket to the top. To finish it off, sawdust was added on top of the bedding as a brown input. This was done to absorb any excess moisture and to introduce more carbon material into the system.